So now that we also have again Dr. Gilmore Mary in our company, so maybe I could just have you with us for another few minutes, not long. I swear, I know you're all very busy, and we'll also have a very interesting panel coming up on state aid law. But since we had Christian's presentation on the CRCF, we have been wondering from both perspectives of, let's say, Vera and the member states' perspectives. How do you think this? I mean, I'll start with a question towards the Secretary General, maybe. Do you consider that the end game is going to be a merge of all national VCMs and the CRCF and the ETS? How do you, as an expert and representative of the Greek government, see it? I'm not talking about for the next couple of years. I'm talking about the end game in, let's say, beyond 2030 or something.
Are you asking me or Mary?
You, yes, please.
Okay, for me, there's no doubt that there's going to be a merge with the EU ETS. I mean, this is also
you mentioned that it is
stipulated in the new version of the EU climate law. So I think it's, the seeds have been planted in the EU climate law. Of course, there are no trees now. We need to
plant them
and make them substantial. But I think that that's the whole point of doing this. And if there is a demand, I think there are ways to do it. And again, the key to that is credibility. Credibility is the number one issue, because that's what has led VCM to be kicked out of ETS to begin with. Okay, and for good reason. I fully support that. We were not ready at that time, so we need to improve the robustness and the credibility of the methodologies and the credibility of the verification and validation and verification schemes. And this is not a hint against the existing certification schemes. I'm just saying that it's not about only doing your job, your certification properly, but being able to convince everybody that you have done that properly. So that is what is at stake. And that's why we believe that if we make such a system through the ministry and having clear rules that everybody knows which are these rules, that will be a big boost in the credibility of the system, provided that we have, as I said, objective rules on how it works. Because originally we had some proposals that were based on specific studies that will prove how much CO2 we absorb. I can understand that from a technical point of view, this might be correct, but anyway, it's inefficient. We are not going to do it. We need automatic ways of, cannot be fully automatic, but to a large degree, we need clear and detailed equations that lead to the CO2 credits. And of course, then later on, you need to follow up every year and make sure that the project is there and is running the way it was supposed to be running.
Thank you. Maybe now the existing standardization bodies could.
in this context, from the perspective of certification bodies such as schemes such as Vera, the CRCF registry may now be complementary, but in the future it will probably be a reference point. Is this correct? A more stronger reference point, emerging reference point, not just a complementary one.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, I think as Vera, as the standard setter, we see it, and I would refer you back to the map I showed earlier on in my presentation. You know, Vera and its projects cover many regions within the EU, but also outside of the EU, and we also always need to have an eye to that. I think we definitely see greater coordination, possibly integration when it comes to raising standards, raising quality, raising integrity. And actually what we're seeing more of now, and that's why I gave the example of Corsia, you know, we're seeing kind of hybrids. So we're seeing a coordination between voluntary standards and compliance and compliance-based standards, whether that's CRCF, to kind of make use of, because what we don't want is we don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? There are very, very robust, high quality methodologies, for example, already out there across various standards, not just Vera. And I think we also need to bear in mind the timescales that we have. I mean, as the Secretary General rightly pointed out, I think first comment was, you know, there was a concern about the schedule for this, right? What does it account for the practical challenges of implementation? So we have to, as much as we all need to be working towards this problem, we all need to be addressing it. I think the EU is an incredibly fantastic position to do so, in terms of standards and having a readily available market, if you will. And I like the ideas about how to ensure demand. I think that, you know, big food companies and then kind of using them to generate credits, that's fantastic. But I think there needs to be coordination with what has already been done rather than starting again from the beginning. And that's why currently I see more integration and coordination, as we have done with ICVCM, as we've done with Corsia and Article 6 labels, just because these things need to be achieved within the next 10 years. You know, we can't maybe stop one thing to do another. I'm not saying that was proposed, but I'm being a little bit dramatic purely because I think at the time we need to keep the timescales in mind and what we really need to achieve urgently within those timescales.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Makes absolute sense. Again, we could stay here for hours discussing with both of you, but I'm sure you don't have hours. We don't have, because there is another very interesting panel coming up, which I hope you have the time to follow. If not online now, live streamed, it will be recorded. So if you, our distinguished speakers, don't have anything to add at this point, we will have to wrap it up, right? So we thank you very much, Secretary General, Dr. Gilmore Maurer, Petros, Mary, thank you so much. And let's hope for to have you again at one of our next conferences.